Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I am Isani Caetano.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
And today is Monday, May 18th. Good morning, Sab.
Good morning, Isani. How you doing?
Man, I'm okay. I'm fine actually, but it's kind of unusual to have you here on a Monday morning.
Sorry
You're
for
usually
being
my
one.
Wednesday morning vibe.
You know what, Isani? I understand you don't want to see me face for one
Nah.
No, there's
You're
a
good.
slight switch this morning, and so you're going to be seeing April come tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to starting the morning fresh with you,
Yes.
Isani. I know we have loads to jump into and some wonderful conversations to look forward to.
Quite a
but
number
before
of
we get into
interesting
that, I want to ask how your
conversations.
weekend gone.
Restful for the most part, but at the same time too, I was able to get around and do some of the stuff that I wanted to be, that I didn't
Yeah.
really have much of a chance in the previous weeks. And so yes, came to work this morning, renewed motivation,
Good,
feeling good, feeling great, and all of that good stuff, right?
Good, all right.
Let's hope that I could keep the momentum throughout the course of the week though.
Well, I'll send you over and then you could start off one thing.
All right, so this is what we have for our show lineup this morning. We're going to be having an extended conversation with the Minister of Home Affairs as we discuss the state of emergency and, of course, its effectiveness. Next, we're going to be discussing backyard gardening. It's a conversation that I want to have. I have sort of a green thumb, so this is what I'm looking forward to. And lastly, cooking Belizean Favorites. If you guys are into fish panades the way I am, then it's also a conversation you want to stick around for. Sab, take it away.
Oh man, Isani, I feel like I have to leave the entire show to you to take over. He's looking forward to the gardening. He's looking forward to the panades. I mean, come on, save some for me. But we have some conversations that we think you guys should be hearing and talking with us about before you leave your homes this morning. And we want to start on a somber note. We regret to inform everyone as of last week that Dr. Cecilio Eck, also affectionately known as Dr. Shrek, passed away from stage 4 cancer last week. And so that news was broken to the entire country. And hopefully we get an opportunity to speak a little bit about his legacy, his contribution, and of course even his fight with cancer. We'll also be speaking on some international topics, including things taking place in the United States. A national mall prayer event sparked concern about the Trump administration eroding the wall between church and state. And still on the topic of international news, Trump's Beijing visit was more vibes than details, and Xi set the tone. And so we'll be talking about that and even the involvement of Taiwan as well. And then back on the home front, the special envoy, Rosana Bersenio, is demanding that Belize's sex offender registry be made public. Guys, we want to hear from you regarding this. Do you think this is something that's important to be public information, or is this something that should stay private? And then finally, now this one certainly broke Belize's internet here last week. Belize spent $500,000 on OnlyFans in 2025. Now, that was some big news coming out of wherever you get OnlyFans information, but there are certainly some Belizean who had thoughts on that. I even saw Tanya Carter share her thoughts on it as well, and so it was pretty funny. But we definitely want to discuss each and every one of these topics and even get your thoughts on it. So, Isani, I don't know where you want us to begin, perhaps on the heavier side of what is taking place.
All right, so let's begin with the passing of Dr. Cecilio Eck. All right, so on Friday, we received word that Dr. Shrek, as he was affectionately known, lost his battle to biliary tract cancer. he was at a terminal stage and he was fighting for his life in essence. When we did an update on him in early 2025, he still hadn't really made the kind of progress that he would have wanted to make in his fight against cancer. But I'll set that aside for now, just to say this, right? There are, perhaps for us, many doctors who have a significant role to play in our lives, right? And for me, I think of at least 4 doctors who have been prominent, not only in the media, but in the work that they've been doing in their respective professions or area of expertise. So I think of the late Dr. Fernando Cuellar.
Yeah.
I think of Dr. Jorge Hidalgo. I think of Dr. Cecilio Eck. And I also think of Dr. Marcelo Coy. So these are 4 doctors who are pretty much part of our household. Their names are very familiar to us. So to bring it back, we've been covering Dr. Eck well before he was diagnosed with cancer. So as a pediatrician, he was one of the go-to doctors if we wanted to learn about issues, medical issues that affect children. But beyond that, he has this amiable nature about him, right? I recall going to his office over there on Kona Drive on numerous occasions while he was healthy. The guy was funny. I'll give you that. And I appreciate a good laugh, right? You have to have whimsy and fun when you're doing these kinds of work. And every time I walk into his office, he cracks a joke and then we, roll over and laugh over something funny. So, but that's me as an adult, right? With kids, he just has this way and this touch that kids forget they're sick, right?
Yeah.
And when I look at the story that our colleagues and I did on Friday on him, so much so that even the parents forget that they're worried about their child's illness, because
and
it's
that's so
almost,
important.
Yeah, you have to have that relatability with your patients, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So that when they come to you, sick as they are, they seek comfort, they seek assurance, right? And of course, they have the confidence in you that you're knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. He exuded that.
I remember in the peak of COVID-19 as well, when everyone, stood beside him and in prayer even as he was diagnosed with COVID-19, and he had to fight through that as well. I think he had one of the harder cases, or one of the more severe cases of COVID. And so I think from that moment, we realized how special he was to us.
Yeah.
Of course, when we found out that he was diagnosed with this form of cancer as well, there was even more of an outpour of support, so many fundraising, and I think him using his platform and his profession to speak about cancer was also something that was impactful as well. I can't forget to mention his work with World Pediatrics, which for many people who are not aware is really voluntary work. These are types of work that allows families and children who are not able to afford certain types of health care that opportunity to leave the country even and get the type of access that they need. And so beyond just being a medical professional, he was someone who was a man of service, a man of a large heart. And I think that that is something that we will never forget. I'm thinking of his family at this time. I think of Miss Milagro Garel from World Pediatrics, and the fact that she probably felt like family to him as well. The children, he probably felt like family to them, even yourself as a parent, Isani. And so our heart pours out for everyone who has come in contact with Dr. Eck and who is remembering him at this time. I hope that we can keep his legacy alive one way or another.
I also look at it as an opportunity for perhaps another pediatrician to come to the forefront, so to speak, right? Remember, as I mentioned earlier, for me, you have these 4 prominent faces, right? So, excuse me, we've lost 2.
Yeah.
And these are medical practitioners and professionals that we relied on for information. And they were forthcoming with their knowledge, right? So we need now other doctors in their respective fields to step up and say, okay, look, let me fill the void.
But what was it about them, Isani, that you would say allowed them to have this type of presence where, you know, they did so well on TV even, you know, because I remember thinking of Dr. Cuellar being on the couch. He broke it down in a broad Creole feel. And there was something about,
right?
especially he had a sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
But there was something about Dr. Eck that even had that type of presence too. He felt like, you know, like a neighbor. He felt like someone that you would meet regularly.
You know, for me, right, and this is just my takeaway and my way of looking at it, that comes with a certain humility though.
Yeah.
Because they weren't pompous with their knowledge, right? And like, I know everything, and you know, yes, they are well learned in their respective field, but the way how they impart knowledge, it comes so easy and second nature. So much so that when we wanted to know about COVID, for instance, we got a Dr. Cuellar and he gave it the 2 cents and broke it down, and we walk away with a knowledge of it that probably we wouldn't have had even with Dr. Google, right? That sense of relatability allows us to be able to draw on their knowledge whenever we needed it. And that's the reason I'm saying, I'm hoping that, you know, someone else, maybe others now can step up and fill those voids, right? But yes, let's move it along a little bit, right? So there was a prayer service held at the National Mall over the weekend. So for the benefit of you guys who do not know what the National Mall is, that's an expanse of public space in front of the White House, right? It's where the famous Million Man March was held and all of these mass gatherings. Now, in this situation, the church and the state, some people are saying that there's an erosion of what this relationship should be like, right? Now, I'm looking at it and I find interest because we're also in Belize talking church and state, but not with service in the sense of having a memorial or a mass or whatever, but the relationship between church and state where the HPV vaccine is concerned, right? So my broader picture when I look at this whole thing is many of us, nations, we have in our constitution, it's enshrined that the church and the state do have this symbiotic relationship, if I could describe it as such, right? But then when you look at liberalism and the fact that the world is moving in a certain direction, if you look at the state pushing Christianity over any other religion, then some people will feel uncomfortable about that, right? So if you look at Belize, for instance, ours is based on Christianity, right?
Yeah.
But when you think about inclusivity, my Muslim brothers and sisters, or whatever other religion people ascribe to, you have to be able to respect that. Now, the United States is way more liberal than we are, right? They're way more open-minded about a lot of things than we are, because Belize is still pretty much conservative where that is concerned. So when I look at this, I won't call it incident, my apology. When I look at this event over the weekend and the criticism that draws, some would say it's a healthy debate to have, given the times.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I love the parallel that you painted with Belize, especially with the HPV conversation that we've been having. But even what you mentioned of other religious organizations being present in a country, and if we're looking at it fairly, we have to acknowledge and respect them as well. I think of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat that have been doing excellent work in the country, across the country, and even outside. And ultimately, if we want to be a state that respects religion, we have to respect all. And so I think that's what it boils down to. I think this is healthy. If there's even pushback when it comes to it, it acknowledges that there are several religious bodies and belief systems that really guide us to live in a certain way. And if it's Christianity, if it's Hinduism, if it's, you know, Buddhism, ultimately, whatever it boils down to is a way of life and how you treat people as well. And so I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
All right, so while we're on Trump, right, and this one, to some extent we can relate to because of our bilateral relations with Taiwan, right? So President Trump visited China recently. While in Beijing, he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping, right? And a lot of the critics were saying, look, man, like more talking than action going on, right? But for me, what's interesting is that, one, President Trump was flocked by all of these big name CEOs, right? Jeff Bezos and this one and that one as part of his entourage, so to speak. And it was a show of one, a projection, so to speak, right? So we, the Americans, say all of them big name people are coming along with me, boom. But in all of those were talks about Taiwan, because Taiwan remains a sticking point for China. China has a claim over Taiwan, and in much the same, for instance, as Guatemala has a claim over Belize, right? And so that's where I see the commonality between Belize and Taiwan from that particular lens. But in the conversation between President Xi Jinping and President Trump, the Chinese president was basically saying, well, you know what? If you continue to sell arms, or if you continue this recognition of Taiwan as an independent, you know, as a sovereign or independent state, then the strength of our relationship will have to revisit that. So much so that coming out of the meeting, it would seem as if though President Trump was singing a different tune where Taiwan is concerned, right? But you would know that the United States has always been favorable to Taiwan as an ally, right? And so when I look at that and I think, wow, imagine how much influence and pressure, because you have to be able to acknowledge China's role in global politics, right? They are one of the superpowers. While yes, the United States is seen as the #1 superpower, China is not far behind.
Close second.
Right? Russia not too far behind either.
Yeah.
So these are the top nations in the world that you have to contend with. And when China flexes its muscle based on its manufacturing prowess and all of these other things that we depend on, you kind of have to look on it from a point of view as well.
Yeah, I was looking at the picture of the handshake and I was thinking, who has the upper hand here at this point? And it clearly seems like it's China. I understand that there is this $14 million like weapon deal that was supposed to take place with billion weapon deal that was supposed to include Taiwan. And that seems to be on pause now. And so immediately the first thing I asked was, okay, what's the reason for this change of this shift? China was already, we knew that China was already one of the leading nations before. So what is it, or what's in it for the U.S. in this change of heart now?
Well, the thing is, the United States relies heavily on China, again, as I mentioned, for its manufacturing capabilities and what have you, right? So here's the irony of it to me, just from my point of view. There was a point in time, Sabrina, when you saw something that says made in China, you laughed at it and be like, that's of inferior quality. I mean, I don't want no cheap cloth, I don't want no thing where I broke up after 2 weeks or whatever,
That's
right?
true.
That was once our thoughts, right, about things that were made in China. All of that has changed considerably, right? So much so that your Apple phone,
Made in China.
right, some of your vehicle parts and so on, it's made in China. And it's not of inferior quality anymore. They've learned and they've adopted technology to a point where they are arguably the world's leader in terms of these technological advancements that make our lives easy, or easier, if that were the case. So when I think about made in China, you have to think that America outsources quite a number of its of its manufacturing to Chinese workers and Chinese labor and what have you.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll
So-
definitely be seeing that further.
Yes. All right. So make we move it along, right? Now, this is an interesting one I saw over the weekend, right? For your good special envoy, they say make the names public. Can you have a lot of men out there where they're sexual predators, and we need to know who they are if they've been convicted. Just like in the United States, you have to register as a sex offender so that if you move from one city to another or one neighborhood to another, they have to know where you are in terms of your residence, right? And so I think the same should apply to Belize. I fully agree with this one, right?
Yeah.
I got two picnic. And I'll be darned if my next door neighbor is a sexual predator preying on kids or what have you. I need to know that. I'm not saying that he or she would prey on my kids. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying we need to know who they're wrong with, especially things of that nature, right? So I think to have a registry and to have it made public, people who have been convicted, I stress, right? There are no hearings or no allegations. You have to done gone through the system and you have been convicted. Then the name is out there so you know exactly who they're wrong, your school, you know? Because I'll give you this example. There are a lot of times people would complain or go on social media and talk about, you know, kids being approached by adults and what have you, and we don't know who these adults are or what their intentions are or whatever. But if you got a registry with name and face, that maybe that helps in terms of, you know, kids being approached by strangers.
Yeah. So apparently this list was mandated back in 2014, and since then they've been trying to roll it out. And so when I saw this article, I couldn't help but think, man, Special Envoy, she's on a roll, you know. She's really been doing a lot in forcing us to acknowledge different issues that we've been trying to address when it comes to domestic violence and holding, for example, those in law enforcement accountable. She's been pushing behind that. And then, of course, this next one now with the sex offenders list, which obviously anybody in their right mind would promote. The idea of that being public information, regardless of you being reformed, if you want to call it that, that's still public information. People want to protect their children. They want to protect themselves.
So I put it like this, right? So a lot of people out there are Nicki Minaj fans, right?
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj married to Kenneth Petty, right? Kenneth Petty is a convicted sex offender. So that when they move to a particular city or location, he has to register in that particular city or location. So much so that when he failed to do that in the state of California a couple of years ago, they went after him for that. So that people, like I said, know who they run your school, who they run your house. Because some people are not as reformed as they say they are, right?
Yeah.
And in some cases, these things are in a manner of speaking, psychological, right? So that you might want to change, but if it's in you and you see somebody who attract your fancy, you know? Yeah. I just say, and I leave it at that, I want to know who they are.
All right.
Give me the names and make we deal with that accordingly.
Also, people they ask to give names for this next topic where they come up to, Isani.
Ah.
That will be jumping into.
No, I'll scoff at this for the purpose of being, you know.
Devil's advocate.
What is $500,000 on OnlyFans? And this is cumulative and collective. It's not just one person is spending $500,000. It's everybody that Belizean who have an OnlyFans subscribership or an OnlyFans page, right? $500,000 is a drop in the bucket.
A drop in the bucket?
Right? That's like a spittle. But it speaks to those of us who have this thing for adult content.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's
Right?
the cost of the subscription for OnlyFans, so I guess that's another point that we could jump into. But apparently, I'm being told by our producer it's like $7. Producer, thanks for that information.
Was that research or was that just her knowledge?
She said I have knowledge. But you know, people have been making light of the conversation. I think OnlyFans has been one of those recent platforms that people have been using to monetize adult content.
Yeah.
And so it's all over different platforms as well. I believe. I know that you could.
There's a famous
is it?
Belizean name that comes to mind, but I left that thing there so. I don't know if it don't update you on
I don't know if
fans
it's the
or
same
what
as
now
like.
what.
I don't know if it's the same as like subscription for different platforms as well. For example, you could be like a subscriber for an Instagram account. I don't know if that's the same. Guys, can you notify me?
I don't know. Remember, I don't exist in
Yeah,
social
it's not
media
not
space,
like on
right?
social media, so you don't even have no help to me in this conversation. But regardless of that, it's been making its rounds on social media. I saw this hilarious video of Tanya Carter reacting to it. But yes.
I think I would have kind of looked at it differently if they were saying Belizeans spent $5 million on OnlyFans in 2025 as opposed to $500,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say that because, relatively speaking, when you look at all of these other countries and their involvement or engagement with this platform, they are in the millions and billions of dollars, right?
Yeah, but Belize is still relatively small too,
Yeah.
though. And I'll also say this. I think Belize is still trying to understand how they could monetize on social media platforms as well. So that's another thing too.
Yeah.
When you think of people who might be interested in this line of work, you might have to have an account, like a bank account, outside of the country as well, like a U.S. bank account. So perhaps that's one of the reasons as well. But I think to just simply have access to OnlyFans, you could use a credit card, I imagine.
You imagine or you know, because you can't use cash, right?
I imagine.
All right,
But it's just some interesting conversations coming out. I don't know how we were able to find out the number, though, the figure. How we were able to find out that Belizeans spend $500,000.
There's a metric and a tracker that allows you to determine who is paying from where, right? At least that may lead to say where I get Friday, but yes.
But it says Sabrina is adorably innocent. It's not like Instagram subscribers. I think you could do that too, though. There's an opportunity for who would like to have, some type of subscriber account, you want to get additional whatever. Anyways, that's just my thought on it. If you guys have any further comments, you can let us know in the comments section. But we are now closing off this portion of the show and moving into our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks from the National Met Service. All right, guys, this is our Eye on the Weather, again brought to you by the National Meteorological Service of Belize. And let's look at today's forecast. Today's forecast calls for sunny, windy, and warm today, then partly cloudy and breezy tonight. Showers, if any, will be isolated. In terms of temperatures, coastal areas can expect highs of 90 degrees Fahrenheit, then dropping to lows of 83. Inland is expected to be a little bit warmer. Their highs will go up to 96. However, their lows will be dropping to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. And then in the hills, highs of 83 degrees Fahrenheit, then dropping to lows of 68. In terms of our extended forecast for coastal and inland areas on Tuesday, you can expect highs of 89 degrees Fahrenheit, dropping to lows of 83. In inland areas, highs of 95 and dropping to lows of 74. Wednesday and Thursday, very similar temperatures, 89 again, dropping to lows of 82, 95 and 73. It's pretty much the same for Thursday. And then for Friday, again, very similar temperatures, 89, dropping to lows of 81 for coastal areas, and in inland, 94, dropping to lows of 73. The sun rose this morning at 5:19 a.m. and is set to set at 6:18 p.m. The moonrise will take place at 6:53 a.m. and will set at 8:46 p.m. The sea state is moderate to rough, with winds blowing from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots. Today's high tide will take place at 10:20 a.m. and then a low tide at 6:02 p.m. And then tomorrow, another high tide at 12:22 a.m. and then another low tide tomorrow at 4:58 a.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service. I'll send it back over to Isani now.
Excellent work, Sab. We're going to take our first commercial break, and when we return, it's all about discussing the state of emergency, its effectiveness, and what you guys can expect from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Do more than carry. They prepare, they fix, they comfort. They keep a home moving in ways few people notice. And even when the day is done, they are still thinking of home. For the months of May and June, we celebrate the hands that hold the home together, offering you 25% off on tiles, lights, fans, ACs, gardening supplies, and more, both in-store and online. Thank you, moms and dads, from Builders Hardware.
As a small business, I started to attend pop-up shops like many other businesses, and we found that our customers wanted to pay by card and not cash. I went to Atlantic Bank, and immediately, without a problem, it's like, yes, you can have a POS system. That POS system we now use in-house, and we can also take it countrywide wherever we are. They were willing to take the time. They were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business, and that, for us, that meant the world.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Hi, I'm Ava.
And I'm Aiden. We're your AI guides to all things NHI.
In this video, we will guide you on how to become an NHI member. You, and if you have a child, must have a Social Security card. To get an SSB card is easy. Visit socialsecurity.org.bz/card-replacement to view the required documents that are needed.
There is a fee of only $5 Belize for a first-time issue and $26 Belize for a replacement card. Newborns can use their mother's SSB card for up to 2 months.
With your SSB card, you and all family members can register at any NHI contracted clinic of your choice.
You and members of your family can now access health care when needed.
Please note that once you are registered with a clinic, you must go to that same clinic when you need medical care. Look out for more NHI guides like this.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
And welcome back. Joining us for an extended conversation this morning is the Minister of Home Affairs, Mira, and we're going to be discussing everything that has to do with the ministry and the efforts to maintain citizen security. Good morning.
Good morning,
Minister Mira.
Good morning to you. Morning, Belize, and morning, Bawapan.
Yes.
Left Bawapan early this morning. Very nice weather today.
Yeah, we're not complaining about the weather this morning. It's been a while since you were on the couch with us to discuss these very issues that I highlighted at the top of the segment. Let's start with the state of emergency, only because that is ongoing. And while we heard from the Commissioner of Police and the brass of the police department last week, we haven't had an opportunity to sit with you to discuss from your seat this SOE and what it seeks to do. Let's start there.
Well, morning. Yes, so the Commissioner of Police and I think his staff went into details about the SOEs. And I must say, first of all, that I must give condolences to all of those families who are affected by the violence that happens in Belize and Belize City mostly. Mm-hmm. It's never an easy task, and it's never an easy news whenever I get those reports. I know that another murder has happened. It makes me think, what is it that we must continue doing to ensure that we curb the violence, and especially the gang violence. SOE is never, for me, is never the first thing that comes to mind. That is the last resort. That is when we come to a point where the violence is getting out of hand you have one of the hardest things to control is when you have that violence inside the same gang. You know, because it's between themselves.
Yeah.
They are fighting for position. They're fighting for leadership, or
it's a kind of civil war, so to speak. Right?
Exactly, and those are the ones of the hardest. When you have rival gangs, you know, going at each other, we know where they are, we know where to patrol, and we know how to contain it. And in most instances, the police department has done a very good job. I have insisted to the Commissioner of Police that we need to invest and we need to work harder on intelligence-led operations. It cannot be that you just go about, you know, arresting everybody. It is about intelligence-led operations. SOEs is one of the last resort. That is when we reached to a point that the police department came and said, listen, Minister, I think it is time. I think that the violence has gotten so bad that we need to restrict these guys. I had always been, you know, not wanting to have an SOE. I am not for SOEs. I believe that we must exhaust all the tools that we have.
Just stick up in there for a second, just for my own clarity and perhaps for that of our viewers. This is the first SOE under your leadership of the ministry, correct?
Yes, this is the first SOE.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can tell you that the leadership of the police department came twice before and said, Mr. Mira, I think it's time that we restrict these guys. We have to have an SOE. And I was always hesitant to do that because we must exhaust everything. You know, we must reach the point where the SOE is the last resort for me.
I want to ask really quickly, because I know that SOEs have always had this nature of where there are people who support it and those who are against it. Prior to you having the role of Minister of Home Affairs, were you a person that supported the SOE?
Yes, I do. And at the Ministry of Defense, I used to always support the police department with the BDF patrolling the streets. I think it is a part, it is a tool. It is not the tool, but it is a tool that we can use, or the police can use to ensure that we curb the violence in the city.
What is it about SOEs, Minister Mira, that you would say allows the police department to use its intelligence and go in places where it would have otherwise not been able to do outside of an SOE?
I believe that the SOE gives us, or gives the police department the emergency powers that they need. In other instances, you would need to have evidence without a reasonable doubt. With the SOEs, it gives the police department the power to go and arrest and detain persons that you believe, and you must have enough evidence, but you don't have to go beyond that. It's not like a court of law. You know, so you can take these guys out and ensure that the calmness comes back to the city. The SOEs, and it's under a constitution, gives the police department that power.
I think what is interesting about this particular state of emergency is the number of young men who have been brought in this time around compared to previous SOEs where there was a wider net that was cast, because people used to always complain, right? Then go to Queen Street police station and then wait for their loved ones on a bus because everybody got swept up. Even the innocent ones then get caught up in it. Now this one, as far as we were following those numbers last Monday, it was only about 8 or 9 people.
So this SOE is definitely different. Under my leadership, I met with the command of the police department and said, listen, we cannot inconvenience innocent. This cannot just be a net that will bring everybody, you know, and you just pick up everybody that's on the street. This is not for them. This is not for the innocent people. If you're a law-abiding citizen, you have no issues. You should not fear the SOE. The SOE is for those who we know. You know, it's not a large number, you know, and I made sure that all of those detention papers and letters that I signed, that are the guys that the police department believes and have evidence, and it must be written. You see, the SOE, I think you know that it went to court, and we have learned. We have learned a lot from what the court said, and I made sure that the police department is following the procedure.
Critics have dubbed the SOE as a band-aid solution for a bigger issue. What are the measurable goals, Minister? How do you determine when an SOE is actually working?
The SOE is one of the tools. There are many things that could have happened 10 to 15 years ago that we would have seen the positive effects now. It never happened. But we are, as a government, I think that as a government, we are tackling that issue. Because it's not just a police issue. It's a social issue. It's a whole of government issue. So now more than ever, you have access to education. The government high schools are tuition free. So you have access to education. So those that are, on the streets who never have that access to education can have access now. NHI, another very good program that this government has instituted across the country. Now you have access to a national health insurance. You can go, and if you look at the comments from NHI, it's all positive. It is affordable. So, and the social programs that the government has instituted, all of these work towards making sure that these areas are crime-free. But certain things should have happened 10 to 15 years ago, and it never happened. So the SOE now is a tool. It's one of those things that the Constitution gives us so that we can reduce the violence and still institute some of those things that will be giving us those positive results probably in the next couple of years ahead. It not change overnight. But we have to do something when we see that it's getting out of hand.
Now, there's a scenario where, while yes, certain parts of the Belize district remain under the state of emergency, we're still recording violent crimes, right? In the past week alone, since the SOE came into effect, we've recorded at least 3 murders within the Belize district area. And it's not to say that an SOE puts a lid on all crime and violence whatsoever, but some would say, but these incidents are happening in some of the very same hotspot areas that we want to see more police on the ground, or we want to see more effective policing if that were the case.
And this is exactly why we need an SOE. Imagine if we did not have an SOE, how many murders would have been recorded? So the police cannot be everywhere at all times. We are doing our best to ensure that the patrols are effective. We're doing our best to ensure that patrols are being, and the operations are intelligence-led operations, that we know what is happening. I have directed the Commissioner of Police to put a lot of emphasis on the special branch, that the special branch refocuses on their task, that we have more sources out there, that we have more information that we can translate into intelligence. And that's the reason why the SOE had to come into effect, because of those same violence that is happening. So we would wish that we could just put a lid and say SOE, but this SOE is totally different, as you mentioned. It is more targeted, it is more intelligence-led, and we are targeting a certain set of people. So when you hear SOEs, people say, I got so many calls. They say, so what time curfew? No, there's no curfew. This SOE is not a net for, to just grab everybody and then sort out and see who is who. No, we have made sure that we have in writing. So we have learned from the past case against the government. And all of those guidelines that the High Court gave in their decisions, we are making sure we follow them and making sure that we follow all those guidelines for the SOE.
So let me draw a scenario, Minister. A couple of weeks ago, there was a violent attack on 2 young men traveling down the Philip Goldson Highway. Vehicle overturned, we saw them being extricated and rushed to the hospital. These are 2 well-known street figures. And this speaks to the very same infighting with that particular group that, in a sense, led to the SOE. Those young men, as far as I'm aware, are perhaps still hospitalized or at home recovering from their injuries. Fortunately, they weren't killed. But in a scenario like that, where you know that there's infighting and there probably will be the likelihood of retaliation after the SOE. As we have agreed, the SOE is a temporary fix. But some people hold long-term grudges, right? Especially when an attempt is made on your life. What is the Ministry of Home Affairs doing to address these issues on a medium to long term, given the nature of the conflict?
I believe that the Belize Police Department has put a lot of measures in place. And it is difficult when the infighting happens inside. It's very difficult. But we have ensured that GI3 is equipped with the resources that they need to address the same issue. The infighting between gangs, and to be honest, in Belize we don't really have structured gangs, you know, and the aim is to dismantle all of these gangs. And we will start from the top. There are certain key figures that we need to make sure that we remove from society, and that is going to happen. We are putting things in place to ensure that we get enough evidence, that we have enough intelligence, that we can go after these guys. It cannot be that a small portion of our society are holding communities hostage. That cannot be. And
that's the reality, Minister.
It is the reality, but it cannot be. And we will make sure we are working on making sure that we gather all the intelligence that we need and all the information, evidence that we need.
So it comes off a bit cliche at this point. I say that because we've seen successive government administrations say the same thing. It can't be that a handful of bad men, the whole city hostage. But then that is the reality.
Well, I will say this, that you can hold me, you know, to my word that we will do everything possible. And if it never happened, because there is nothing else that we can do. And I don't think that is going to happen. We will make sure that we get enough evidence. We'll make sure that we have enough information to make sure that we remove these guys. We cannot be like El Salvador. In a way, we can't go to that extreme, but there are certain measures that we can do. And I have directed the Commissioner of Police to make sure that we explore all of those measures.
So
make sure.
So you mentioned that this SOE is different. There are not the same type of measures in place for the general public to follow, like curfews and whatnot. But I kind of go back, I feel the need to go back to one of the criticisms that I mentioned earlier, where people feel that it's a Band-Aid solution. One, because there are persons who are taken up and sent to the Belize Central Prison for a certain period of time. And then it's described that in that period, they're not able to provide for their families, right? They're not able to work if they were working. And so when they come back out, there's a frustration, and it's a cycle that continues. I want you to respond to that first. What are your thoughts on that? From critics saying that it's not a real solution. These men they're placed on a timeout, and then they come back and the cycle continues.
The SOE provides for a time for them to be removed, and that is what we need to do. We need to remove them from here to ensure that the violence goes down. This is, I will repeat again, SOEs is not the solution, but it is a tool. It is one of those tools that the Constitution gives us to ensure that we bring down the violence whenever we believe it's out of hand. I don't know, you mentioned that some of these guys, you know, have jobs. I don't know which kind of jobs you're talking about, because if you talk about jacking people, you know, and doing hits and that kind of thing, they're no real job.
Perhaps it speaks to some of the persons who've described being innocently taken up.
And that is why this one is different.
Okay.
Exactly.
We know to bring everybody that we meet out on the street. These are targeted. We have, you see, we learned from the last, from the High Court decision, where we have to put in writing the reason why you're being detained. So all of those things are in writing. When I sign those things, I give you a reason why I detain you, you know. This is the reason why you are being detained. And this is the evidence that we have. Now, what is also different is that the tribunal that is supposed to be put in place to review your case is also already being assembled. So we not wait until the end. We have the Governor General and the Chief Officers have already appointed their persons. And they are going to go and review with what we have listed, with what we have in writing, and say, listen, we believe that you deserve to be here. And if we have to extend this SOE, I will take it to the House to extend. Because we do not want that cycle to continue.
I have another question that I wanted to ask Minister Mira, and perhaps you could give us some inside scoop on what's taking place at the Central Prison. These persons that are swept up in the SOE, what happens there during that period? Are they simply just sitting there, or are they in a special section of the prison?
No, there's a lot of things that happen because the interventions and all of the social work happens in there as well. So they're not just locked up in there and forgotten. No, they are in a special area, but that area they have access to families, they have access to their attorneys if they need one. As I said, we have made sure that we follow the procedures and the rules.
Your fundamental rights are still maintained.
Yes,
in a sense.
Of everything that the High Court has given to us.
So which brings me to this, Minister. You've emphasized that the SOE is only a tool, right? But part of this broader picture includes the Leadership Intervention Unit. It includes the ability of the police department and its units, in a sense, to effectively put in place conflict resolution, because that's what it boils down to.
Yes.
When you have feuding groups or internal feuds, it's basically people who don't see eye to eye with each other. And in a scenario where you don't have the loss of life, it makes it all the more difficult for you to get man to sit down on a table and squash them beef, right? So my question now is, how effective are these other tools, aside from the SOE? How effective are the initiatives or the efforts of the LIU, or bringing these young men together in a different forum to be able to resolve their issues?
The LIU provides a great tool for what you just mentioned. And that is happening right now at the prison as well. So while they're in there, we have work not only from COVID Foundation, but the LIU has a lot of work to do as well. LIU is one of those units that comes under the responsibility of my ministry that I have much respect for. It is not easy to bring these guys together. It's not easy to bring them together and let them speak, So the work that they do is fundamental in making sure that they resolve their issues. And it's not an easy issue to resolve, especially when lives are lost, or when you believe that, then they're after you, or when you believe that, the other rivals want to take over your area, or it's not easy. But the Leadership Intervention Unit, I think, plays a critical role. And more, we have police involved in the LIU. So it's not only the LIU civilian staff, but we also have police involved. Community policing, another tool that we use. And when I just took over the ministry, I had the opportunity to come to Belize City and sit down with some of those leaders in those communities. Go through the alleys and sit down and speak to people who we can call upon whenever we have those issues. So it is one of those things, and has never been easy. And I don't think it's going to be easy. It is. But what we need to do is to ensure that our youths have opportunities. Opportunities in education, opportunities in sports, opportunities in trade. LIU does have an education program as well, where you can go and learn a trade. And those are the things that we want to give these youths opportunity to do something different.
Yeah, I want to segue from the SOE and Belize District for a second and take things over to Belmopan. That is your constituency. But it almost seems at this point as though crime and violence is also taking hold in Belmopan. We saw just last week a shootout between a group of young men and police officers who were pursuing them. We've also seen instances where people go missing, and all of these other reports that we have had in our newscast. Now, you have two hats to wear. You're area rep, plus you're the Minister of Home Affairs, right?
Yeah.
And one would think, or one would argue that you're supposed to have Belmopan and Nalaka and Key where that is concerned.
It is of big concern, and every time I meet with the Commissioner of Police, I remind him, listen, I'm from Belmopan, you know. You are from Belmopan as well. My CEO is from Belmopan as well. And we cannot allow these group of people to come into Belmopan. And I will not shy away from saying that those that were involved, they never come from, they are not from Belmopan, you know.
Okay.
They were from Belize City. And we had very good, and that is why I want to commend the police department for their stellar intelligence work that they did on that case. Because they knew, they had very good information, very good intelligence. I want to commend Special Branch Belmopan for their work in this case. The SPU as well for their work. For responding very, very quickly. This was something that they were tracking from Belize City, actually, and one of the surrounding villages in Belmopan. So if we can do that, it means that we need to emphasize the importance of intelligence-led operations. This was strictly intelligence-led, where we managed to intervene before something else happened. And I won't disclose what we got from these two individuals, but it was something bigger that they were there for. So I think the police department at this point, and I must commend the commissioner for his leadership in that area, that we have to work harder in getting the information. We just can't do operations all over the city like we don't know what's happening. It must be intelligence-led.
You know what's equally concerning, Minister, is that some of these bad actors are dressed up as policemen and BDF now. Because if you think about the robbery at the vape store here in Belize City, the young man or the young men who pulled that off dressed as officers. If you think about that incident in Belmopan, there were uniforms that were found in their possession as well. So it seems to be a pattern that is holding.
We have legislation that we are going to put in place to ensure that we restrict the use of these uniforms. The police department, the BDF, the Coast Guard, they're all going to have a uniform that is going to be registered for them, and all the others will be banned. I think we have to make sure that we take away those tools from these guys. You know, it is difficult. I'll never say that it's easy, because the more restrictions we put and the more laws we pass, you know, it may affect. Maybe you might like your camouflage now and again, you know, for go and show off, you know, and you're innocent. You don't do it because you want to be involved in any illegal activities. You do it because of fashion, you know. It's always nice to wear a camouflage. I wear it for over 23 years, and
go hunting?
Exactly, you know, and but some of the things that we will have to ensure, and we're following some of the lessons learned from other countries who have done the same. But yes, it's a problem, and we need to get a hold of it.
When you look at the problem of persons or bad actors moving from one pocket to another pocket, you described earlier of the deep concern of seeing your constituency in Belmopan now be riddled with crime. I think of my community that has also now been included in the SOE, which was otherwise known as a safe community, but there are concerns that some of these actors are moving from place to place for their own safety, but then crime following them as well. What are the measures that the police department can do to keep these communities safe and to not have these levels of crime be a part of their community?
And let me just say that some of the areas that we have put in the SOEs with advice from the police high command is not because the community itself is violent, but because these actors move from place to place and they want to go to an area where they can feel safe. And we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that if you move and got a boom, that we will catch you a boom. And if you move and got a lemon, we'll go for you there. You know, they have been moving, and we know that they have been moving. And that's one of the reasons, the main reason why we have included certain areas. It's not because the area is so, but because these guys move.
So people
and the same area, the same thing I have in Belmopan. Because most of the actors are people who come into Belmopan. And I have the police department right now and special branch working hard in Belmopan because I cannot allow any community.
So that's a strategy, essentially.
It is.
Because for a to a common folk, we think, oh my gosh, the crime now they come da boom. The crime now they go to Belmopan, you know?
No. But it is to make sure that if you move from Belmopan, from Belize City, and you go to Belmopan, or if you go somewhere else, that you know that you are not, that we will be able to get you, and that is one of the reasons why these areas have been.
So let me argue from this point of view, Minister. We all know that when a certain gang gets hot in Belize City, they retreat to Gales Point. We all know when certain things happen, they retreat to Boom because that's where their origins, their families are, and so they run themselves at the Belize City and then they go cool off somewhere else. So to me, it made perfect sense that you would include those areas because, like you said, if the SOE only applied to Belize City, they could easily come out of Belize City and go and cool off somewhere else and run that area they read to if that's the case. So to me, it makes perfect sense, but the average person wouldn't have understood it that way, so that you got a lot of backlash when the SOE includes the River Valley area.
If you're a law-abiding citizen, you have no issues, you know. You don't have to worry about nothing. If you're a law-abiding citizen, please don't worry about anything. We're here to make sure that we protect you. And we do not want these guys to go and infiltrate and start doing things in your community, which was peaceful until, you know, we have an SOE in Belize City and then these guys start to move. We also have a network of cameras, that a camera system. I think we have almost 500 cameras up now countrywide, with the main hub in Belmopan, but we also have one in Belize City. All of these cameras will be integrated into one system, and it has helped us tremendously in solving a lot of the crimes that have been happening. I think that for me, the arrests and the solving of majority of the murders has happened with the work of the CIB special branch and the camera system that we have. We're going to enhance that system. We are now in the process of making sure that we have those cameras manned 24/7. So it is one of those tools as well that we
Minister, I want to use the remaining time to discuss another issue that the police department has been faced with, and that's the issue of domestic abuse in their own lives, so to speak, right? Fairly recently, we saw videos come out. We've reported on police officers being arraigned for physically beating up their spouses and what have you. And some people would say that there should be a zero tolerance policy across the board in law enforcement for that kind of behavior, right? But we're also seeing where that has now, in a sense, become commonplace, where police officers lose their cool and get into it with their spouses.
We cannot accept that kind of actions from the police department or from anyone.
Yeah.
You know, no matter if you're a police or you're a civilian, we cannot accept that you would resort to violence against your spouse or any kind of violence. However, for the police department, while we come from the same communities where you come from, we recruit from the same areas that you come from. We recruit from the same families that see violence in their homes and in their neighborhoods. We recruit people from there. And what we do is we train them. And we are supposed to be trained to tolerate certain things and to make sure that we are above board and law-abiding. At the same time, I think that the police department's job and the police officer's job is very, very strenuous. It's very stressful, and they sometimes do lose their cool. And while we cannot tolerate this, we also have to ensure that we give them that support that they need before they reach that stage. So we have in the police department our counseling section. We do have 2 persons who are working to ensure that if you have an issue, please come to us. Let us speak about it. And I really don't have the details of
Yeah.
them because I don't really get into.
That's
But
fine.
I am supporting and making sure that not only does the police department's chaplaincy is being supported, but also those that give the police department the needed and necessary counseling that they have. I got also a lot of messages and calls to ensure that we not just put the policeman under the bus. They also need help. And I agree that they do need help as well. And we're going to give them that support. But we cannot allow and we cannot tolerate any abuse from police officers. And they don't have to just be home, It could be anywhere while performing their duties. And that's the reason why you get trained. That's the reason why constant training has to happen. We have had in the past where police, after they finish their training, they rarely do anything else in terms of training. And that has now become something that we have instituted with the Commissioner of Police, that you have constant training. And we take them to the police training academy and make sure that we retrain them. It's not an easy job for them to do. And we, like I said, come from the same communities and the same neighborhoods like you do.
I want to ask you regarding the recent statement from the Special Envoy, Rosana Bersenio, asking for the release or opening of persons who, or public information for sex offenders. Is this something that you are supporting?
Yes, I think that is something that we all should support. Since I have been at the ministry and I do read all the reports that are sent to me, some of those reports are unbelievable. The abuse, sexual abuse to children, primary schoolers. I mean, I cannot understand how someone would look at a child, without saying any names, but children as young as 4 years old. We have to make sure that we treat their people in a different kind of way. We cannot tolerate the abuse of children from anybody, and be it male or female. I think that I fully support her call. I think that if you are convicted of something like that, then the public should know who you are, so that you can prevent and make sure that you keep your children away or keep this person away. I really believe that it is time that in Belize we have a registry. Register yourself and make the people know who you are. Because we cannot have, because in some of the cases, that's not the first time it happens.
Repeat offenders.
Yeah.
And in families, it happens to the older child, and then it happens to the younger one, and then it happens to the last one, and we cannot. And I fully support Special Envoys on her call, and I'm going to do my part from my ministry to ensure that we get this registry done.
Excellent.
All right. Well, Minister Mira, we have exhausted our time, but as we wrap up the conversation, I'll ask if there is anything that you would like to mention to your constituency or to our viewers at this time.
Thank you very much. I do want to wish all of those from Belmopan. First of all, we had our Mother's Day event just last week.
Yeah.
A lot of mothers were honored. I wish we had all. There were some that were with us last year who were not able to be with us this year. We miss them very much and we love them. Mummies are a special kind of persons in our society. My mom calls me every single day. I want to make sure if I don't have breakfast, if I don't have lunch.
All right.
Yes, make sure that she calls. I'm the first of 10, so she have 10 phone calls to make every day.
Yeah.
Early in the morning and in the afternoon. But we want to wish all mothers. I'm hoping that they had a good Mother's Day. And we can't forget the fathers, We have Father's Day coming up.
We want to come up, no worry.
We want to come up.
I hope that they give us the same energy and treatment that
we have to give ourselves. We have to give ourselves.
We got some saxophone on the lineup right now.
We have to give ourselves that opportunity. Thank you very much for the confidence that Belmopan has placed in me. I work hard every day to ensure that I provide the services that are needed as much as I can with the resources that I have. I work hard in cabinet and this government to ensure that we have a government for the people. And in this ministry, while it is not an easy ministry to be, we do have professional people who know the job. You know, it makes it easier when we have people who know and can advise. And I want to wish the police department and everyone a good week as we navigate this SOE and as we try to make the public safer. I want to thank them for their service and for the hard work. They do work hard, and I have seen firsthand, while I was in the BDF, I knew that we work hard. But being here, I can see that most of them are just one phone call away. I also want to congratulate those that are being promoted. You know, it's promotion time, and Police Week is coming soon, and we'll see most of the promotions during Police Week. So thank you very much to the Police Department, the Commissioner of Police, and everyone who does a great job. And I want to assure the public that we're here to protect you. And if you're a law-abiding citizen, don't worry about SOE, you know, this will not affect you, none at all.
Carry on.
All right? Yeah, exactly. But those that are out there who insist on keeping, you know, our communities hostage, where children can't go to the park, where children can't go to school in peace, we'll do everything to ensure that we bring back normalcy to the city and to the whole country of Belize.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Minister Mira. We appreciate the time that you've taken to come to us from Belmopan. We know that it was an early rising, but we know that even our viewers, by extension, also appreciated this time.
Thank you so very much.
All right.
Belize, thank you.
All right, guys, so we have to take a quick break, but this next conversation, I'm sure anyone with a green thumb or aspiring to have a green thumb, you'll appreciate this one. We'll be joined by Michelle Sampson sharing some backyard gardening tips made easy.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easier for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Look here, your kitchen light there and you've been in the kitchen. But I'm going back in there right now. And the coffee maker? Just to try to keep me the coffee warm for later. What do you do now? I'll try to think about what to eat. You know, the more you open and close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool. For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now? No. Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
In May, make Benny's your one-stop shop for appliances. Get amazing deals for mom and appliances all May long. Benny's, quality and savings.
Welcome back, welcome back. We are jumping into our second conversation. And Isani, I am so excited to have our next guest on the couch with us. She goes by Michelle Sampson, but really, we know her as Mich. We've seen her on our social media platform. We saw her on Facebook, and then when we decided to have a TikTok fan base, we saw you on TikTok as well, Mich. And really, it feels like you are a part of our OIE family. You tune in every single morning with us, and you start your morning right on TikTok, on Facebook, wherever we are. And this morning, we are so excited to finally get to know Mich a little bit more. But in this case, her perhaps skill in gardening. You are going to be breaking down some backyard gardening tips for me specifically, because I heard Isani has a green thumb. I know nothing about that. But Mich, it's such a pleasure having you here this morning. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning as well. It's nice to be on the couch.
I know, right? You see every day.
Yes.
Now, before we even get into backyard gardening, I have to ask, what is it about OIE that makes you tune in every morning?
It's hilarious. It's like, you know, listening to you guys on the TikTok and seeing how you guys prepare and get ready and watching the set, the conversations you have before the conversations. It's nice.
Yeah.
Because it's usually a period when I'm finished workout and I'm just relaxing, you know, just cooling down and I tune in. And, you know, it helps me before I get ready for work.
Yeah.
That's how we found out that you have several hobbies aside from working out. You seem like you're a great cook. You make some fancy breakfast, and then you also love gardening as well.
Yes.
I even had, we even had our colleague Paul do a sit down with you. I believe it was last week, and we highlighted what you've been doing to kind of cut back on some of the spending at the grocery store. Your gardening has helped you with that as well. But how'd you get into gardening?
Gardening came as an outlet for me after my mom passed. I took it very hard, so I went to see somebody, and she told me I need to find something to channel, my grief. And I started with the workouts, and I started with the gardening. The yard was bare. It was completely bare. Like to see the yard from then to now, it's completely transformed.
Yeah.
And I started with flowers, just flowering plants. And I don't know where I transitioned into tomatoes, sweet pepper, and other stuff. And
You have vegetable garden now?
yes,
She has
and
even
now
raspberries.
it's you know.
Yeah.
I even have a garden club with some ladies that, you know, we exchange. Like yesterday, I got some more cucumbers because the lizard seems to be eating mine. So I got from Melissa, I got a dragon fruit as well as edamame. And from Adelaide, I got some more cucumbers. So we usually exchange seedlings and stuff like that.
So your journey began with coping through grief.
Yes, it
and
did.
you've been able to really bear fruits from that
Yes.
journey as well.
It's interesting you would share your story with us, Mich, because I got into gardening during COVID and the lockdowns, right? Never had anywhere to go. You can't really do much or whatsoever. And
True.
I was doing some renovation on the property, and I figured, okay, let me have two gardens. Let me have one outside and one inside, right? Now, admittedly, I've sort of abandoned the one outside. So I have space to start over again with some
Yes.
new plants and what have you. But for me, the idea of gardening, as a child, I would have never considered it. But I always wondered why my mom and my dad loved plants like that. And I realized it's therapeutic.
It is.
Right?
It
when
is.
When you are nurturing and tending to a
It
plant
is.
and watch it grow and you water it and do all of these things, there's something about that that brings
It
peace of
does.
mind.
Yeah.
It does.
Right? And I don't know that a lot of people appreciate it. You'd have to actually do it and
Do it.
go through it to
Yes.
understand it.
Yes, you feel like a kid on Christmas morning when you're planting a seed and you finally see like a little flower come out. That's how you feel. It's very therapeutic for me. You know, I don't know how it's going the way it's going. Like I just delve in it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you said you started with flowers.
I started with flowers. I started on the side of the yard with some hibiscus and different thing, and then I saw a little area. I said, you know what, something could go there. And I started, I put the little cement blocks, you know, nothing expensive. I just got some blocks, some dirt, and the PVC wire, the PVC pipe, I bend it, and I put like a little, that's how I started. And then I had another plot, and then now I'm looking to do another area.
A lot of people, a lot of people, I think, would appreciate how you've been able to use gardening to also cut back on some of your spending as well, too, though.
Yes.
Can you expand on
I
that?
haven't bought tomato and sweet pepper probably in a month.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't. I have the little cherry. I also have arugula. Last week I just went in the garden, got a couple cherry tomato, one big tomato, and some arugula for my salad for work.
Nice.
So it has helped, and it has cut back in a while.
I was laughing earlier when you were talking about how basic you started off with the formation of your garden, right? With the cement blocks and the PVC pipe, right? I would have loved to start at that. But Ali perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
So I have to build picket fence and I have to...
He's not fancy.
No, that's where my other one went with pallet.
Yeah.
Because I put the blocks and then I put the pallet on top, make it look really nice, right? And on this other one, I think we'll go something different, make it in like completely enclosed, because I always have a competition with me and the lizards. I'm saying I'm planting for both of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
My problem, lizard, but not the small one.
The
Mine's
big
a
one.
iguana.
Oh my God, yeah.
Now, okay.
Big green iguanas eating out her stuff.
So we have Mich, who said that she started with cement block. Isana say he go lean, right? Because I have no experience in planting, and I wouldn't consider myself having a green thumb, I might begin your way.
Yeah.
For a person tuning in right now who has no experience like me, what would you say is the first step to growing a plant, or does it depend on the type of plant?
I think it depends. Like you could start with do one in a pot.
Okay.
Like you don't have to go out and buy expensive pot. Right now my sister-in-law usually gives me the milk can from my niece.
Okay.
And I would bore holes in that and you know, I set whatever in it. You could start with a tomato, start with a sweet pepper, and maybe it might die, but you get another one.
Yeah.
You learn from what you did with that one, and then that's how I got in. I've had a lot of errors, and sometimes I just want to knock down the whole thing, especially when the lizards start to eat them. I mean, Yeah.
And how long does it take? Because the next thing I might want tomato by the end of the week.
No, yeah. Tomato is, I think, to flower it. Well, for me, I've seen like almost 2 months, 3 months.
Oh wow!
But when it starts, it starts. So you know you feel good about, as long as you're trimming, you're watering, you can get good. Yeah.
Now,
good fruits.
I want to ask about how your journey has transitioned since you started gardening. You said that this was to help you cope through grief. Has it helped really?
It has helped. It helps in a lot of ways, and then I think too that along with the group of ladies that I have, positioned myself in, it has made it better and worthwhile. I think I even forgot that how I started because of grief, because of my gardening and them.
Tell me
You
about
got your own support system, man.
Yes, I do.
Tell me
I
about
do.
your support system. Who are these ladies, and how often do you meet?
We have our chat, so we talk almost every day. Last night we met. I have Melissa, Adelaide, Amelia. You have Miss Ardet. Miss Ardet is our big support. She doesn't do a lot of gardening, but she's there to garden. Last night from Melissa, I got the Adamimi. And along with that, I got the trellis to grow it. So, it's a good support. Adelaide gave me some cucumbers, and we exchange. I gave them some raspberries, because the raspberry that I have some little shoots coming out. So we usually, just exchange vegetables and fruits. We go to the market, we buy our soil. Yeah.
Black dirt. Is it a thing right now? Because I'm seeing this in the news, and I've seen this as a feature on OIE, this whole raspberry craze. Is that a thing?
I just think we were all shocked that you can grow it here. People say you couldn't really grow berries here in Belize, right?
You couldn't do grapes. I think it was a challenge for me to grow the grapes. I love to challenge myself.
But you have sea grapes, right?
No, I have grapes, like Christmas grapes.
Real grapes.
Yes, like Christmas grapes.
Oh my God.
I do. That one was a challenge because I think Lisa came and Lisa ripped the whole thing, so I had to trim it down, and I cried because I'm like, man, it might never come back again. And when I see it starting, and it started to fruit.
Wow.
I'm just excited and waiting for a whole lot, because I could actually do a bottle of wine with that. So that's my train of thought with that.
Is it like the purple grape?
Yes, it's purple and it's sweet. Yeah, and then I have 2 strawberry plants, as well as the raspberries.
What are the types of, I guess, like circumstances that could allow you to grow these berries? Because I think they were saying like the temperature here in Belize.
The conditions.
Or the conditions. What is it about it that you did?
Mine's are right outside.
You do anything special for making?
I just want to eat and talk to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And surprisingly, they listen, right? Surprisingly, they listen.
So
They don't talk back.
When you
They don't talk back, but they listen very well, right?
They do, yeah, they do.
So you tell your plants?
I make it know that, I give them a timeline.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have like my mango tree the last time, it was like 2-3 years and it wasn't fruiting, and I went and I watered, and I told you know what, I have a lot of plants, like flowering plants here, I don't need another.
Yeah.
So you got till the end of the year.
You have to bear fruit.
Or else you're gone.
Oh.
And when I see it started to fruit, I mean, it might just be me, but I believe that I threaten it.
Oi. Okay, so you mentioned that you speak to your plants and that you water it to time.
Yeah.
I know that there are certain plants that you shouldn't water every day as well,
much,
though.
yeah.
So are there specific tricks that you have that you've been able to implement to allow your plants to grow, aside from talking to it and watering it?
Eggshells. You could use the eggshells when I'm done with an egg. I usually get I wait till I get an amount. And then I would say 2-3 weeks, I would turn the soil.
Okay.
And just sprinkle a little bit in there. You don't keep this, you don't just water and water and water. You turn the soil so you could get a little aeration.
Yep.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Well, that.
So it'll have to breathe.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mich, as we wind down the conversation, I want to ask if there's any type of, advice that you would give to people who would like to take on planting, who maybe are going through a grief journey as well.
Yeah. You might say it's hard. A lot of people say, oh, it's not something I think I could do. I do not have a green thumb. I don't think anybody has a green thumb. You just have to want to do it.
Yeah.
You start with one plant, like I did. I started one. Like it comes to a point, my brother looked at me and he's like, Michelle, no more. Right? And you start with one tomato.
Yeah.
You start with one sweet pepper. You could do it in a pot. You don't need to go buy no fancy pot. You know, you utilize what you have at home. Melissa, all her Clorox bottles, she washes and cut it, and that's what she grows in most of the time. You don't have to buy nothing fancy. You start with one, and then you see that's, you know, working. You get another one. You don't have to have a backyard. You could do it on, put it on your steps. You could put it on your veranda. You know, stuff like that.
So I'll leave you with this then. For people who are not into gardening, right? When you got a lot of plants around your yard and so, you breathe easy.
It is. You feel a little bit lighter. Yeah. You feel lighter. I created a little area with just the nice flooring part. And I would go out there, have a glass of wine, just relax, have my coffee in the morning. It helps.
Yeah. And can anyone join your club? Because I hear Isani is interested in being the first male.
I'll need to speak to the ladies, but I think you're welcome.
Okay. There's a registration form
So
you have to fill out.
Yes. We'll need to have
and
a
it comes with
discussion.
a fee, and you have to bring a plant with you.
Always the discussion is about plants. We, you know, do wine or we'll do margaritas along with the gardening, but yeah.
All right. Well, Mich, it's a pleasure meeting you for the first time. We are meeting Mich for the first time, guys. And you truly feel like a part of the OIE family, as I mentioned earlier.
Thank
and I'm
you.
hoping that we can interact again somehow in the future. I was telling you some behind the scenes things that we're trying to work on. But it's a pleasure. And I'm hoping that someone tuning in right now could learn something from her story of battling grief and going through grief and even planting some beautiful flowers in the process. Mich, we'll be catching up again in the future. Don't go anywhere, okay?
I'll be here.
All right. And we'll also be taking a next break. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll be switching into some panades. My friend Ovayasa, he loves panades as well. We'll be right back.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Your security, our top priority. strength and integrity. From home, cars and rentals, business too. We make protection simply easy for you. BB Insurance, trusted and true. Clear policies assured. Fast claims too. No appointment needed. Just swing by. Locations countrywide where peace resides.
BB Insurance, your security, our priority.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
Insurance fact! Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, home and property insurance does not only cover hurricane and fire? Your lifetime investment will also be protected from explosions, water damage, malicious damage, and more. So you can rest easy knowing your home is protected. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
Dangriga, something big is coming your way. Open your eyes, Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
And welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We're ending our show this morning with some panades making. In the studio with us this morning is Stephanie Carcamo. She is the owner of Stephitas Best. And boy, I tell you, the fish panades, just the smell of it.
It smells good, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning, Steph.
Good morning.
Let's talk about panades, because that's one of your area of expertise, right? Let's talk about what your panades has that draws so many people, and what separates it from any other panade shop about the city.
You have the sazon, the taste.
Okay. Nice, nice.
Yes, so we make sure we season everything to the best of perfection as much as we could. Every order we send out, we do it to the best as well, so that's why we came up with the name Stephitas Best, because we try our best.
Yeah, and I love that you include your selfie in there, Steph, because there's something about you that feels like a part of the brand too, right?
Yes.
We see you online on social media. You try your own food to make we say, we know you eat it.
Get hungry.
It's nice.
You have to be a harsh critic too, right?
Correct.
And we never hate it. But aside from panades, I mean, you're known for salbutes. You're known for stuffed peppers, I think you do as well?
Yes, I've done stuffed peppers, the panades, salbutes, tostadas. I actually came up with a thing too that's corn fix. A lot of people purchase that too, where you get the panades, you get the salbutes, and you get the tostadas. So one plate, everything in there. You can't go wrong.
Nice. And so we are here to, one, make some panades, but to announce some exciting news as well for people who know Stephitas Best and follow Stephitas Best and eat from there as well. You might have to switch to a new location, but that's actually good news for a lot of people, right?
Yes, we have moved in Balama, phase 2 on Albert Hoy, exactly beside the 30th factory. When I did post the opening and everything, people were like, where? I even had asked on Facebook, where would be a good location, you know? Because in this business, I learned as well that location is everything. Yes, people will look for you, but location is everything. And that's where we made maybe a mistake when we moved in Jane Usher, but we learned from our mistakes. And I am here, and we are in Balama, and the crowd is excited, you know, so I am happy too.
And you have a grand opening coming this Thursday.
Yes, this Thursday we will have our cupcakes, we'll have our loyalty cards to give away. So yeah.
All right.
It will be a fun event.
Well, I'm here to assist you this morning to make some panades.
Yes.
Let's get into some panades.
And it's been a minute, I will admit, since I have used a masher. You call it masher or you call it?
You call it maricona.
A maricona?
Yes, and then you mash as much as you could do.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. I think.
Yes, good.
I don't know about that thing. It looks so even the way I take it.
That's fine. That could work.
That's good. Then
All
you go and correct.
You
be generous with the fish.
Well, you know.
Yeah, you can't
know,
Steph
known for giving us some buff panades.
Yes. You actually taste it.
But you also need to be able to fold it too. You can't get too greedy, no?
Correct. And then you press down. Yeah.
You don't want the panades, boss.
Correct. See?
There
I could bring it to the shop.
I will tell you, Steph.
Grand opening at Thursday. Give us something to do.
Yeah.
Me ship any at 30 hours. So.
Good.
All right.
Perfect, see?
And then, how you know when your pan ready?
All right. You feel like you're ready? We could try one.
Okay.
If you don't blow up, it's already.
Oh, it's supposed to blow up?
Well, you have to fry fast and basically.
Okay.
Be careful.
I think it's ready, man.
Yeah. Yes, man, not ready.
There we go.
Okay, we're ready.
Good. I go put the rest. So we done mix some already.
So Isani, you are clearly a big fan of panades.
Yeah.
He's been mentioning it from earlier this morning. What's your preferred? Do you like fish or beans?
I prefer fish.
Okay.
So we were having a sort of a conversation before the conversation, right? Where I was telling Steph, I grew up on shark panades, right? And that was the only panades to have. If they never have shark, it may be beans, right? But beans are always like the second last.
option,
Yeah. First option, shark, right? Or fish for that matter, right? So that's what I go for. It's just that, you know, I don't know that I find people who could make panades the old school kind of way how I loved it.
How that old school panades? So describe our old school panades.
Right, so while you have the masa, and like I said, mine was shark.
One more.
It's the way how the shark meat was prepared.
Yeah.
Right? And the oil in which it was fried, and it's a science. Make a put that way there. And Steph would have known more about it than me, because just the man who eat it, right?
So when he talked about when he said old school panades?
Well, back in the days when my mom and my grandparents used to do it, right? Basically, they would catch a shark, they boil it, they clean it. There's a trick to it, where you take off the scent because it has a high scent. So there's a trick, right? Once that scent is taken off, you boil it, you fry it, you season it. So yeah, basically it's a process. It's like a six-step process to get it done the correct way.
No, I know people put even chicken in a panades now, which I think personally is a crime.
Yeah, it's a travesty.
Not a travesty.
Yes.
But there are people who also love beans panades. I like a good beans panades.
Yes. There are two travesties, right?
Tell me.
When you start put chicken and other meat in your panades, that's one. And the price of panades, I know it used to be back in the days.
Tell me more.
Back in the days, for $1 you just get a good amount.
Three, four, sometimes because it used to be like 25 cents.
Exactly, right? So about 4 or 5 hours, eh?
Yeah.
No, man, you're going to panades shop.
No, like if you go to Stephitas, I would have been no, right?
But you get quality.
Correct.
And it seems like you even season your masa too.
Yes, I do. You get quality and quantity.
Yeah.
So you basically get 8 for the order.
Okay.
Sometimes people say, oh, I can't finish 8, Miss Steph, I want less. And when I eat it, Miss Steph, I want one next order. You know? So, yes, when we came up with the price, it's not just about the ingredients, but it's the work that goes in it.
That's
you know,
true.
you have to prepare your masa, you have to mash your masa. Just mashing that masa more than 100 balls a day, your shoulder hurts. It's work. Okay. You know?
You get strong. You get strong.
Yeah, more than because remember you're doing like 8 per order.
Yeah.
So 100 still isn't anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that was fun. I didn't try much more.
100 about 10 orders.
Yeah, that's about 10 orders. So it's a lot more than that. You know, it's work.
Wow.
Like the first week that I did it, man, I felt like I couldn't move the next day, you know. It's work, you have to put your time in it, you know, you have to get up early, you have to consider all those factors, the plate you use, because we don't use shop paper to put our panades in, we use it foam plate, you know. The plastic bag you get your napkin, you get your full works. You know.
And people expect consistency too, especially if you've given them some type of quality. They want to know that every time they stop at your store, they're going to get the same flavor.
But here's the thing, right? So technology makes our lives easier, right? So we have to find a new technological way to make this process easier for you, man.
Believe me, I've searched, but I haven't found anything.
But this is too traditional, huh?
Yes, but the process makes it work as well, you know, because every order you put in a love, you make sure you know what you give your customer, how much amount you give your customer, you know, the charge your customer, you know, that kind of way.
All right, so but a good panades also has to do with the sauce.
Correct, the onion sauce.
Yes, so talk to me about your onion sauce.
Our onion sauce, we make sure we boil our water so that scent doesn't stay. Then you basically the water and salt and your pepper. That's it. It's simple, but it's delicious. You know, it's simple, but it's delicious.
Steph, what is a regular day like for you? I mean, is your store open every day?
In Belamo, we'll be opening for now from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Why we're going to include breakfast now.
Okay.
So for those passing by, you could just pre-order by call or messaging me mostly on WhatsApp 612-4060. Let me know what you want. We will have there in our catalog because we have our business WhatsApp page. In the catalog, we'll have all the information, the pricing, everything. You let me know, Steph, I want this. I'll pick up at this time because we want you to get your food hot as well.
6 a.m. is very early.
Yeah, so I could be up like 4.
morning, right? Just
Yes.
like me.
Yes.
Exactly.
So tell me
Early
about.
bird catching most
I
worm.
want to leave behind the scenes stuff. Like, what is a day like for you? I imagine your day begin from the night before. What
Yes,
is it like?
usually, well, not even from the night, after we close, you know, you have to pre-prep.
Yep.
You close up your shop, you wake up early. Sometimes I'm really tired, so I'm not able to iron and get the kids ready at night, but I get up really early to do that.
Yeah.
My kids need breakfast. They can't, my son says, Mom, I can't go to school if I don't have breakfast.
Yep.
So I have to make sure I have that, you
Most
know.
important meal of the day is breakfast, right?
Yes, and I have my daughter that she helps a lot, my Alea. I don't even want to talk about her because we're going to cry, but she helps a lot. She's amazing, you know. Yeah.
I know that you are also doing this for fundraising for an operation that she's set to take as well. So guys, if you know the call just for the panades, come for supporting a bigger cause as well. Her daughter is about to do an operation, and so she needs all the support she can get. And I imagine that's also one of the reasons that keep you going as well,
Yeah, my
right?
kids, you know, my husband or home, you know. I always tell people that when God blesses us with something, we have to make sure we work for it to keep it.
Yep.
And in that case, that's my home and my family. You know, we just built our home and we moved in about 2 months ago, and it has been amazing. You know, my great friend Chanel, she has been amazing too with her husband, you know, supporting us. My mom, my sister-in-law sometimes help with the kids. So yeah, it's been great, and as well the shirts too we got from
brand new shirts.
yes,
Stephitas
Aurelia treasure. Yes, she made our shirt, so it's
nice.
you know, we have the support, and I wish that the customers would come by and support us too. You know, we do this for you guys. So you can enjoy a meal too. It's not just about the money, but enjoy the experience, you know.
All right. Well, Asani, you want to do a quick taste test?
Man, of
we
course.
We got the panades ready?
Yes, let's
So
do
what
it.
do I deserve this honor? Am I getting a plating too?
Yes! I have to carry Sabrina with me, sorry.
Yes, man.
Thursday morning,
Yes.
30.
Ay, kind of hot going on, like.
Which make a go live for Stephitas best for morning show.
Yes.
Thursday,
Sabrina's kitchen.
I got you, Isani. Right now, I give you only $2. Only $2.
Remember, the trick is in the pepper sauce, right, Sam? So you have to apply it liberally.
All right. I don't apply nothing. I just give you the whole container. You serve yourself. So here is, I feel like this is how I see panades set up. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
To go, to go.
So this is how to go. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I do it wrong. Make I set it up over. Let me just say, all right. You know what? Eat till we get it right. So I want to do at least something.
That's
like
how
that.
they used to set it up on the shop paper, right?
Yeah. Talk about tradition. You put it all right back?
Yes, I want it done right.
Well, okay then.
I feel like this is how it's supposed to look instead.
Yes, that's how we plate it in the
All right.
in the foam plates, right?
There we go. There we go.
Perfect.
We can add one next one. Boom. There we go.
Perfect.
Right.
This is it. All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna pass it over to you.
And I'll do the honors.
Yes. And be honest, right?
It's hot. Though. It's hot.
Honesty is all I have.
Yes.
That's really all he has indeed.
Honesty is
It's
all
very
I
hot
have.
though. Just be careful.
Some people say they hot at it better, right?
Yes, because nobody like cold panades, right?
Yeah, I personally like I want to put like they blow my food. I want to cool it off. I'll set this here for you.
Thursday morning at 30.
Yeah. This is the perks of the job, right? There are moments like this that make it worth it. Steph, it's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Remind us once more of the location, the grand opening date, and the times that we can also
Sure,
stop
it's
by.
this Thursday in Belama Phase 2, right beside the 30th shop on Albert Hoy. We will be open from 6 a.m. We have waffles, we have Belizean breakfast. Yeah, so we're gonna post up the whole full menu so you guys can basically see it from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. I can't wait to serve you, and of course, thank you so much, because if it wasn't for you guys, Stephitas wouldn't be possible as well, right?
Alrighty. Well, at this time, we are going to close things off and take one final break, and when we come back, we wrap things up.
They prepare, they fix, they comfort. They keep a home moving in ways few people notice. And even when the day is done, they are still thinking of home. For the months of May and June, we celebrate the hands that hold the home together, offering you 25% off on tiles, lights, fans, ACs, gardening supplies, and more, both in-store and online. Thank you, moms and dads, from Builders Hardware.
As a small business, I started to attend pop-up shops like many other businesses, and we found that our customers wanted to pay by card and not cash. I went to Atlantic Bank, and immediately, without a problem, it's like, yes, you can have a POS system. That POS system we now use in-house, and we can also take it countrywide wherever we are. They were willing to take the time. They were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business, and that, for us, that meant the world.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Hi, I'm Ava.
And I'm Aiden. We're your AI guides to all things NHI.
In this video, we will guide you on how to become an NHI member. You, and if you have a child, must have a Social Security card. To get an SSB card is easy. Visit socialsecurity.org.bz/card-replacement to view the required documents that are needed.
There is a fee of only $5 Belize for a first-time issue and $26 Belize for a replacement card. Newborns can use their mother's SSB card for up to 2 months.
With your SSB card, you and all family members can register at any NHI contracted clinic of your choice.
You and members of your family can now access health care when needed.
Please note that once you are registered with a clinic, you must go to that same clinic when you need medical care. Look out for more NHI guides like this.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us. We've had a wonderful Monday morning. It's a wonderful way to start the week after for panades.
My lips still greasy.
I will never forget you said that. But, it's been great. We just want to say thank you to everyone who joined us. You guys for locking in. I feel like today was even more special because it kind of felt like a crossover, right? We had one of our fans, one of our viewers who would always tune in. She crossed over and she now joins us on set. So that was really nice as well, having Mich on the couch with us. And even having Minister Mira, having these accountability conversations is also important as well. So thank you guys for engaging with us too. But at this time, we do have to wind things down and wrap up the show. It is May 18th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on our social media pages. We have our Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ, our Instagram, that's OYE Belize. We even have TikTok, that's openyoureyes.bz. And then we have our phone number where you can call us or text us. That's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes and
start your morning right.
Until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Monday, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.